Welcome to What Self-Care Looks Like. I'm your host, Brittany Elliott. It may be hard to hear, but self-care is not spa days, a weekend getaway, or brunch with your bestie. True self-care is the practice of protecting your well-being and happiness, and it lives within your daily routine. I'm a self-care and mom life coach here to help you prioritize your needs and practice self-care in a meaningful way so you can reclaim joy in your motherhood experience. Let's get back to you. Hey, welcome back to What Self-Care Looks Like. I am Brittany Elliott. I am your self-care and mom life coach here to help you prioritize your needs and practice self-care in a meaningful way. And today I want to talk about really the way that we as society perhaps, or the people in the world, how we talk about working moms. So too often when we hear people talking about the need for support for moms or the type of support we're looking for moms, the solutions are boiled down to things like childcare, parental leave policies, healthcare, and school reform. And these are all very, very important. I'd even argue that they're super critical um, as a whole, and they don't quite cover the full picture or the full scope because not all moms are working in corporate jobs. I may even argue that most are not. Hey, it's Brittany here, your host of the show, and I'd like to invite you to grab your copy of my book, What Self-Care Looks Like. It's the roadmap for working moms who want to prioritize their self-care and rediscover the joy in their motherhood experience. It's a must-read for any mom who has felt lost, unseen, or unsure along her motherhood journey. Buy it today at www.whatselfcarelooks.com. So when we talk about working moms, we often default to a very specific image. So it's a mom who's working in corporate, juggling Zoom calls, PTO meetings, daycare pickups, school pickup and drop offs. But moms work across every industry in every schedule. You're working in grocery stores, you're at the drive-through window, you're cleaning hotel rooms, you're auditing hotel accounts overnight, you're running classrooms, saving lives in hospitals, you're flying planes over time zones. We're in so many places, and you're working days, you're working nights, you're working weekends, double shifts, holidays, sometimes all of the above. And that's all very real, and that's work, and that's all your occupational work outside of the responsibilities of motherhood. And the default narrative tends to put corporate moms at the center. But to me, this leaves way too many moms unseen, which means there's a lot of moms who are just not heard. And I will agree that there are a lot of systemic problems. There are inequities and there are massive gaps in support. But what can be really frustrating is that all of the solutions are often painted with just this broad brush. And the fact of the matter is, we don't all lack in the same ways. We don't all need the same fixes. We're not all thriving in the same areas. Some moms have really strong support systems and really strong, family support, and they live very close to their family. Some don't. Some moms have flexible work schedules and flexible work environments. And then there are some who can't even choose the time that they take their own bathroom breaks. Some are burned out emotionally, some are burned out physically, some are just, surviving and getting through their days while other women are really, really just drowning in the day-to-day management of their life. So support, when we speak about it, needs to be a little more nuanced because moms are navigating very different challenges, even down to how many children you have, what type of relationship that you are in. Are you in a relationship? Are you not? Are you a single mom who has a positive co-parenting relationship with the other parent, or is the other parent not even contributing at all? So there are a lot of things happening in the nitty-gritty of motherhood that we all really need to be mindful of, with those factors, as along with systemic issues. And I'm never going to sit here and ask you to dismantle a broken system. I really always want you to focus first in your locus of control, the things you can impact. And that starts with you. It starts with your clarity, your energy, your peace. I want you to be laser focused on what you need to feel like yourself again. Not who the world expects you to be, but who you actually are underneath the noise. And that truly is where self-care comes in. I don't point moms to self-care just for like a bubble bath or something luxurious. I point you there because getting back to yourself brings clarity, and that clarity helps you decide what you need in this season, whether it's requesting a schedule change, saying no to another commitment, or just carving out 10 minutes to just breathe before your shift. So you do deserve to prioritize your well-being. It's not a luxury. It is self-preservation, it's clarity, it's power. And if you've been feeling like you've lost yourself in motherhood, I want you to download your free map Back to You at backtoyouin5.com/map, so that you can really start shifting your mind toward ways you can regain some of that clarity that you need. But in the meantime, we are going to talk about what reclaiming self-care looks like. So no matter where you work or what your day-to-day looks like, it's very important to identify times and ways that you can truly prioritize your needs. So if you're a night shift nurse, for example, self-care for you may look like setting boundaries on your off days and saying no to extra shifts when you're depleted. If you work in retail, maybe you use your commute to listen to something that lifts you up. If you work in the service industry, maybe you give yourself permission to not solve everyone's problems when you clock out. And if you spend most of your time at home, reclaim your time without having guilt, even if it's just 15 minutes in silence after the kids go to bed. And I think I was thinking a lot about this during one of my commutes to work. So I guess my role, you would consider it to be in the corporate class of roles, because I work in higher education. I have a set schedule. I know when I go in, I know when I get off. I have minimal work travel and things like that. But my husband works opposite. My husband and I work opposite schedules. He works night shift. I work during the day, so that, someone is always home and available during the day. Um, and that's just something that happens to work for us, because we have decided how we would like things to look and define stability for our home life. And it was very important to me that our daughter didn't ride the bus. I didn't have a preference of me being the person who drops her off and picks her up. It didn't have to be the same person for drop off and pick up, but it was just very important to me that our daughter has a present parent, to have, welcoming conversations in the morning and have a calm morning and not rush, and then be picked up after school. And that's very important to me. So we've worked it out in our schedules. But prior to what I do now, and I think I was thinking about it because I started the job where I work about a year after my daughter was born, because when my daughter was born, I was working for a different company, and that company had a bunch of layoffs. And then, so I lost my job in a layoff, and then I didn't go back to work right away. I just thought, I will just, stay home for a while and, take advantage of this time to be with my daughter. But work life definitely was calling to me and calling my name. So I wanted to take my time to find something that fit and that I didn't feel caged into, because at my last role, I was working at an office, but it was very much almost like call center vibes. So you're just always connected to a computer. You have to like press a special button when you're going on break. All that stuff is timed. There are a lot of quotas, like take this many calls, answer this many calls. It was just very just stressful. And I didn't want that. So I think I was really just reflecting on how pleased I was that that was not my current situation. And then that really opened my heart to the women who are working in that situation. And anytime I even go to a grocery store and I see a mom there working and it's just some oddball shift, I'm just thinking about, okay, well, what kind of childcare situation did she have to set up, or what is their kind of household setup of who's working what shift and how they make it work. Also, when I go to hotels, anywhere I go, there's a mom working there. And I always think, is her company giving her the time off that she needs to do things for her children? Like, is she earning PTO? Does she just have time off? Is she maxed out on it? Maybe she just stopped working and she's on a probationary period. What happens if the school calls and she has to leave? Are they going to hold that against her? And in schools, so many moms are teachers. And I know that there are, people who complain sometimes about different events going on, during the school day, which is the same time as a work day, right? And I always prefer that, because I'd rather take the time off during the day so that I can do something when my energy is up and see my daughter doing something during the day. And I know that many women don't have that option. It's like they need things to happen in the evening. However, teachers who are moms, every day they're at school teaching our kids, and their kids probably are not in the same school that they are. And so if they're doing something during the day, they always miss it. Or if everything's always happening in the evening, now the teacher is at work during the evening because you wanted something for your kid to do to entertain you, not thinking that this mom is missing everything that happens with their kids. So oftentimes we're thinking of solutions that we need. I will quote, we need, but it's really a solution that you need, and not understanding that moms are doing so many different things. And so the solutions that we need are all just very, 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 very different. And anytime you're out questioning why something can't be this way so that you can be more present with your children, remember that there's also another mom with maybe a different situation, but also has the same desire to be able to be more present and to do more things with their children as well. So to me, self-care is the thing that solves the what can I do for me? What can I do with my current situation, no matter what my shift, what my occupation, what my relationship status? What can I do? And I'm always going to point you back to self-care. Self-care is the practice of protecting your well-being and happiness. So I'm always going to point you there. Self-care isn't about the size of the step that you're making in your self-care routine. It's about the intention behind it. Small shifts are very, very powerful when they are consistent. So no matter what your occupation and your schedule, etc., just remember the simplest approach to self-care is to prioritize your mind, body, and spirit. Journal every day to do a brain dump, to clear your mind, get some of that chaos out on paper. Or you can always use an app, like a journal app. iPhones have a journal app. I'm sure any phone, there's an app for journaling. Stretch to honor your body, or if you're someone who's on your feet a lot, doing a lot of walking around, moving around, sit and rest to honor your body, and pray or meditate for a spiritual wellness connection. So I hope you found this episode helpful. I am rooting for you. Do something kind for yourself this week. And until next time, I'll talk to you very, very soon. Thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you learned at least one thing you can implement into your daily routine. To connect with me, follow at Back to You in 5 on Instagram. If you're feeling generous, share this episode with a mom you know and subscribe to the show. I appreciate your support. Remember, motherhood is a journey, not a destination. Grow through it and enjoy the view.